You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show. Hello and welcome to Movie Baiters with the Farx Brothers. I'm Kirk.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're joined by actor, producer, writer, and tour guide, Jimmy Keebs. Today we're going to be talking about Goodfellas. This is the non-spoiler segment.
And can I break the fourth wall? We're recording the non-spoiler segment first. Usually we do the interview first, but Jimmy, we feel like we know you and we can jump right into talking about...
I thought you were going to say we're not in the Manc Ave. We are in Jimmy's basement that remodeled to be a bar. So that's the wall you were going to break.
It doesn't come like this?
It does not come like that. And this is actually half bar, half movie theater. This will actually be a movie theater as well. The theater chairs are right there.
I see them.
And they'll be lined up right here, and the TV will be on that wall.
The TV will be on...
that wall over there.
Oh, so you're going to have a bar in the back and then two rows of movie
So this theater will actually seat 6 people. 4 armbar stools and 2 in really nice, comfy theater chairs that cost me $10 each.
How did you get them that low?
Savers. Coon Rapids. Brian Michael, you know Brian Michael, the director from Z-Fest?
I do know Brian. We recently reached out to him about a project, but we've since had somebody else.
He hit me up.
Come on.
Years ago. He's like, hey man, I know you're doing this movie theater thing in your house. I'm at Savers. Would these interest you? And he took a picture of 6 of those chairs. And I'm like, yes, they would. How much are they? He's like, they're $10 each. I'm on my way. Don't leave. Well, he had to leave. He had to go home and cook dinner. But I get up there and I walk up and I'm like, how much are these chairs? They're like, yeah, they're $10. Here's my credit card. I'll take all 6. So I had to go rent a truck because it's in the days before I had a truck. So I had to go rent a truck, drive back, load them into the truck, bring them down here. And yeah, I have one set upstairs. I'm going to have another set down here.
I love it. What's the last time you watched a movie not in a movie theater? What was the most number of people you watched a movie with?
I gotta say Z-Fest.
Oh.
The top 10. I mean, the top 10 was the last time I was in a theater.
Oh, sure, but outside of a movie theater, like I imagine having 6 theater seats.
So I went and saw Dogma when Kevin Smith was in town, re-releasing Dogma.
Yeah, the 25th. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, it's because it came out in 99, 2000. The movie he picketed himself.
Yeah, he did. Now that's cool. I mean, so we go, and it's an evening with Kevin Smith at AMC Saltdale. So I go down there with some friends. I get there a little early, sit in the bar, have some fun. I see the man in the lobby, but I'm like, I'm not chasing him. I'm not going to chase him for a selfie.
He was in the lobby?
Yeah.
I was there that night seeing a different movie.
Did I see you?
No.
No, I saw other people that were there that I knew that weren't going to Dogma. So I saw him running through the lobby. He was going to his car. And I'm like, well, I'm probably going to get to meet him later on. I'll say hi later. And we get through Dogma. And then he does his Q&A. And I'm like, okay, Q&A. We'll go 6-10 questions. You know, we'll wrap up here in about an hour. It was a 2-hour Q&A where it's like, dude, we got to go. Like, I got to work in the morning. Like, what are you doing? Stop answering questions. Stop asking questions. Shh. Let's all be quiet. Let's all go. It was cool, but way too long.
Isn't he kind of famous for that? Like, when I paid $90 to go watch that Red State movie he made, I watched it at the State Theater, I think, or the P-word one. Down on Hennepin. Pantages. I think they moved it from the State to Pantages because of how many tickets they sold. And I hugged him then. And because I asked, hey, would you make a sequel to this? And he's like, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you now. And I said, can I hug you like that last guy did? So I ran and jumped on stage and gave him a hug. Did you get to talk to him, though? Did you ask him a question?
I didn't. So I thought, okay, after the Q&A, he will stand out in the lobby and let us take selfies. None of that. Like, he left the theater and then we followed behind and it was over. Like, it was time to go to our cars and leave. And I think it was around midnight. And I'm like, dude, I got to get home.
Damn.
Like, I have to go home and go right to bed.
Was the bartender at the AMC Southdale the woman with the dark hair?
Maybe.
Okay. I see her on occasion. I don't always go to the bar when I go to that movie theater, but I talk. She knows who I am. I know who she is. She's a belly dancer. She thinks of me as a writer. I explain that my 9 to 5 isn't that, but I'm trying to be a writer producer. But you know her, right?
Yeah, we've met a few times, I think.
But
Yeah.
do you have conversations in a relationship with her like Jimmy and I
No, I don't know. Should I introduce myself next time?
do? Bring up the belly dancing for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
When did you see Goodfellas? Did you see it when it was in theaters?
I didn't get to see it when it was theaters. So Goodfellas, it holds a very special place in my heart.
Mm.
My dad showed it to me for the first time. It had to have been early to mid 90s. Showed me this movie, and I'm just blown away. I get the book. I get Wise Guy by Nicholas Pileggi, and I read the book. Still have it upstairs. And I noticed that the book is different from the movie. Slightly here or there. Things are changed. But I just hold a very special place in my heart. I mean, you got a bunch of guys that they kind of answer to nobody. They kind of just get away with robbing and doing all this stuff. But also they get treated very well whenever they go out. There's a famous scene of going to the Copacabana, Henry taking Karen out on like a date, and they go into the back and through the kitchen, and then they come out and everybody's waiting in line to get in, and the maitre d's like, no, I got their table here. We're going to bring their table right out, sit it right in the front row. That shot was so cool because it was all Steadicam. I believe they used Steadicam for that.
they would have had to.
Yeah, I think it was a Steadicam shot.
It's after Rocky, so Rocky's the second movie ever to use a Steadicam.
Yeah, that makes sense. That scene alone, it's like, I love this movie. It's not my number one, but it's definitely up there.
How old are you when your dad shows it to you?
I had to been 14, 15. And growing up, like there was no restrictions on anything. Like I could watch whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted at any age. It did not matter. We had no restrictions. So I watched Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 when I was 5. Love Freddy Krueger. He's funny, He's funny.
Wait, were you 5 when it came out?
I was.
Okay, I now know what year you were born in, but I won't say.
You can say.
Let the audience do the math.
No. 3 came out in 87.
Oh, you saw the third one, that Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
See, I assumed you meant the first one.
No, 3 Dream Warriors.
That's my favorite one, and it comes up on the podcast a lot.
Mine too. Like you watch 1, it's like okay, 2, all right, but 3, I don't know, very special. I mean, it could just be from when I saw it.
I like movies that are franchise movies that take the concept and do the same thing but different, because in that one they don't figure out in the first one to work together in their dreams to fight Freddy. It's just in the first one they have to figure out to fight Freddy at all in their dreams, and then the third one is when they figure out fighting together. And hello, you're welcome. You're listening to a Goodfellas podcast. Sorry, dear listener. I don't care because 1987's. Dream Warrior 3 years before this, and that kind of gets you used to a certain kind of violence. Like movie violence has no effect on me. Would you ever watch like something sexual with your parents?
Yeah.
What's something sexual you can imagine? Like I always use the example of like Animal House when I was 14 with my mom, or Crash when I was like 17 with my mom.
Yeah, I mean definitely Animal House. I mean definitely watch it with my dad. My dad was a stoner. I mean he smoked pot every day, all day. He's hard working, but that's what he do when he come home. He didn't really drink a whole lot, so we would and he didn't like sitcoms. He hated sitcoms.
Why?
I don't know. You'd
The
have to ask him.
laughter?
Like, we can go up and grab his ashes. You can ask him if you want.
Don't joke.
Shake him.
Yeah, you're like, dude, why didn't you like sitcoms? And he just didn't like a lot of sitcoms. So
What's wrong with Bill Cosby?
You shake him like a magic 8 ball. Like what? Wow.
He loved to watch movies. So we would usually after dinner, because we'd watch The Simpsons at 5 and 5:30, the reruns.
You know that's a sitcom.
Yeah,
right?
technically that's a sitcom.
It's a cartoon though, so it's like it, and it was kind of counterculture, you know. So he loved that. So we would religiously watch The Simpsons. We record every episode growing up.
Oh, you had a VCR because this is the later 80s. So
Oh,
you were
we
born
had
in
two
82.
VCRs.
You had two
my dad was a
VCRs?
pirate, so we had two VCRs.
Oh, because you'd rent the video and then copy the video, and you wouldn't have to pay. Because in the 80s, getting a video cassette was like $40, $50, sometimes $80, right?
In the 90s, they were pretty cheap.
Yeah, in the 90s they were cheap because
Yeah,
more
you'd
people...
buy in 6-hour tapes, and yeah, we would go to the video store and rent movies for $5 for 5 days for $5. That was the local deal, and the video store owner knew us, so we would have no late fees if we returned them late. And yeah, it was very, very cool to kind of live that way and just watch a different movie every night. And
Wait, but if you knew the owner and you could have kept it forever, why the
some of them I
copying
did
it?
keep
Yeah,
forever.
pirating it. Yeah.
Some of them are upstairs right now.
What's a movie you
in
kept
the same
forever? Oh,
cases.
nice.
Because the store actually did end up going out of business in the early 2000s. And I had purchased or rented 5 movies. And they went out of, I went to return them and the door's locked. I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? Well, I ran into the owner a year later. I'm like, hey man, I still have your movies. Can I give them back to you? He's like, no man, keep them. Thank you. Because I have the original Dawn of the Dead that I watched as a kid. That was another like kind of gory movie that I watched with my dad.
It still works?
I hope it still works. I haven't ran it through a VCR in 20 years, but I hope it still works.
Because people are doing that now as like retro stuff. I haven't done it, but I know people do it.
I have a VCR in the garage I could one day grab and hook up to something and watch it. You know, it'd be cool. It'd be interesting to watch it off that day. Because my hometown, all my friends rented that same VHS. And I have it. I told them I have that VHS. So
Pine City, just
yeah.
so that's on the
So this
record.
September, there's a local horror movie convention every year called Crypticon.
Yeah.
And Ken Foree, who is one of the stars of Dawn of the Dead in 1978, he's going to be there. I'm going to bring my copy to Ken and be like, Ken, I got to have you sign this. VHS. I don't do that for anybody. I do not care about autographs, selfie. I don't care. But that, I think, is going to be a little more special if I get Ken to sign, because all my friends, we watched that movie. We watched that same VHS over and over.
I did something like that once. I had a burned copy of Daniel Tosh's special. This is in the late 2000s.
Wow, Daniel Tosh.
No, Tosh 2.0,
Yeah.
yeah. And he came to our college in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I knew someone who was going to get to talk with him afterwards. So I ran home and got my burned copy of the disc and asked him to sign it. And then we all took a picture, and he whispered in my ear, "You little shit."
Yeah.
And, he's rich. What does he care? I thought it was quite fun to do such a thing because, like, he's a comedian. He can't be mad at me. Did you watch Goodfellas again after you watched it at 14? Like, when did it reach into the rotation for you?
Right after that. Like, I'd watch it all the time just because the lines are just so funny. These guys, they're horrible people, but they have very funny lines. And, just watching these guys interact and knowing that these guys were real people. A lot of them were real people. Some of them were like kind of jammed together.
Robert De Niro's character, the name has been changed, for instance.
Yeah, they called him Jimmy Conway in the movie. His name was Jimmy Burke.
Yep.
He was Irish, kind of hitmanish. He could never be made because he wasn't Sicilian. And,
spoiler! I'm just kidding. But.
Yeah, they just found like more bodies, I think, in the last like 5-10 years that he definitely clipped.
Well, how different was the book from the movie?
Oh, it was pretty different. Like, so one big difference was who Henry Hill hung out with. He hung out with mainly, I think his name was Paul Vario. So in the movie, they call him Paul Cicero, Paulie.
Yeah.
He hung out with Peter, which I think was Paul's son, instead of Tommy, who I think Tommy, played by Joe Pesci, he did hang out with Tommy, but he mainly hung out with Peter. And that's like a big difference between the movie and the book. And I think he was in the army. Like Henry Hill was in the army at one point.
Oh, he serves kind of like Al Pacino's character in The Godfather Part 1?
Yeah.
As it was called at the time in 1971.
Yeah. So
Part
he did
1.
that in prison when he went away. Eventually, he got sent to the prison farm. And he found out real quick that he was able to really manipulate things at the farm to get it so that Karen could come up and spend a day with him on the farm and nobody would know.
His wife.
Yes, Karen is
Not one of the Gumars. One of the things I don't like about this movie is they don't use the word Gumar.
What's a Gumar?
They don't need Gumar.
Gumar. Do you want to explain to my brother
Yeah,
here
where's
who's
a
a little
Gumar?
ignorant of what a Gumar is?
Gumar is kind of your
Side
who you're
piece?
cheating with.
Yeah, side piece.
I like
Your
his
girlfriend.
version of who you're cheating with. You're kind of...
your girlfriend.
I modernized it.
And
side piece.
they don't even say it when they mention it in the movie. Friday night is for wives, Saturday night is for the girlfriend.
Yeah, they said that in the movie.
Or do they say it opposite?
It's Saturday night is for the family, but Friday night we're for the girlfriends.
Yes, there you go.
And
I could pull up my script if you.
well, explain your script. You and your brother have a competition, kind of like my brother and I. You're on Movie Baiters with the Farx brothers. Bicker about things. You and your brother have. Do you have the entire script on your phone? Is that correct?
I have the entire Goodfellas script on my phone. Me and my brother will text each other a random line, and you have to respond with the appropriate next line.
Is your brother older or younger than you?
He's younger. He's 9 years younger than me.
9 years younger. Wow. So you were out of middle school and high school when he was just getting out of elementary school.
Yeah, he would come down and spend the weekend with me down here. And when he was like a teenager, I'd take him to skate parks and everything and to parties.
Whoa.
He could drink. He couldn't drink at the parties, but
No, of course not.
He could hang out. Brother's can have a few drinks, but he can't.
Just a few.
Actually, at one of those parties, like he played Guitar Hero at one of these parties, and I swear the next Christmas he asked for a guitar for Christmas and started playing guitar and became a musician.
Oh, is your brother a musician now?
He's not currently a musician, but he's pretty talented at the guitar.
Fantastic. Our brother Nick Farx was a Guitar Hero champion at one point, as he's said on another show at one point.
But he doesn't talk about it that much.
He doesn't, but I like bringing it up because he got like second in a local competition at the Mall of America or something, where there's all like, we're going to show who's the best Guitar Hero, and he was the most on the Guitar Hero spectrum of glory. My brother has a debate about this movie, and I don't think we have to spoil anything to discuss. What did you say about this movie and why it's bad?
Oh, because it's like sort of your argument with Nomadland, where the use of homelessness shouldn't be romanticized in this way. But I counter with Goodfellas are romanticizing being a gangster, and you said gangsters are more useful than bums, homeless people.
I think I probably did say something like that in the privacy of my home to my wife and farcical brother here. What I meant was that I don't care for the movie Nomadland. I think it's poverty porn, whereas I don't believe this movie is glorifying being in the mafia, as it were.
I think it is.
No, I'm gonna say not. It's not really glorifying it. It's explaining what it's like, but also at the same time, like, you could be killed over nothing.
Right.
Look
get
at
whacked.
Spider, the movie. Like, this kid just told somebody off and he got killed over nothing, and that did really happen, where he was just more or less defending himself and he gets killed.
Oh, spoiler! But Christopher Moltisanti. Did you watch The Sopranos?
God damn it! Yes.
You're a Sopranos fan. You've watched it multiple times.
Huge Sopranos fan. That's gonna be another podcast guaranteed, because I love The Sopranos.
I do as well. What we should probably enter into this conversation for people who came for Goodfellas is that as a tour guide, you talk at a lot of breweries specifically about some of the history. you're not a historian, but you cover history and specifically some of like the seedy underground of St. Paul specifically.
Yeah.
And how I heard you say somewhere that in St. Paul at a time it would have been Prohibition, so the 20s, you could come into town as a criminal, and if you checked in with the police, they wouldn't bother you as long as you don't bother them by committing like a hit or a crime or something in St. Paul, and you could, I assume, drink at, you know, speakeasies and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So in the early 1900s, St. Paul Police Chief John J. O'Connor created the O'Connor system. I don't ever think he called it that specifically, but it said if you were a wanted criminal in St. Paul or in the U.S., you could come to St. Paul, and as long as you paid a fee to a fixer, then pay off the proper authorities, and you checked in and did not commit any crimes in St. Paul, the police would leave you alone. If you want to go to Minneapolis and rob a bank, you know, maybe go ahead.
So it was a sanctuary city for gangsters.
Yes.
Wow. All right.
And that happened. That was all the way up until I think 34, 35 is when they really cracked down.
Do you know why they cracked down?
They cracked down because of clearly there was crime going on
Yeah,
here.
people getting killed off.
People were getting kidnapped. William Ham Jr. got kidnapped. I talk about that on my tour every Sunday at 1:00.
So you got to come to the tour at
Edward
1 o'clock.
Bremer, a local banker, also got kidnapped a few months after that.
Of Bremer Bank?
Yes, and he was beaten up very badly by the same people, and people are like, "Hey, we can't have this here. You know, we cannot have crimes in St. Paul, and these criminals are getting away. There has to be a way that they're getting info, and they're like, it has to be somebody in the police force. So the FBI started the wiretap, the St. Paul police precincts, and sure enough,
Wait, the wiretap started in St. Paul?
No, the wiretaps were already going on.
Oh, yeah.
But they wiretapped the St. Paul police precincts, and they found out, sure enough, yeah, they were
Dirty cops.
there were a lot of dirty cops here.
It's like the James Cromwell movie, L.A. Confidential, with Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce. Have you seen that?
I've not. I mean, it's on my list, dude. I want to watch this movie so
Dear God, I made my adopted father, watch it in the past year, and it was helpful to our conversation about. Well, he brings up how I think that Nomadland is poverty porn and glorifying being poor, whereas I don't think these movies glorify being a gangster, though I am somewhat laudatory of, like, say, how the mob protected the ports during World War II. I see value in that, and
bad. Luciano.
Sorry?
Look at Luciano. Mario Lansky actually got him. I think he got him a pardon or something. They got him. He got deported to Italy. Mario Lansky's like, no, we need him. So the U.S. government brings him back during World War II in hopes that he's going to provide the guys to protect our ports. That also comes up in The Sopranos too, a little bit.
Well, they're doing waste management in The Sopranos.
But
and he's doing construction in this.
the conversation comes up about Lucky Luciano actually founded the modern day mafia. Like, you gotta be Italian. This is the way we're gonna, like, make guys. It's gonna be a blood oath. You're gonna burn the saint in your a picture of the saint in your palms. You know, all that.
So you know a lot about the Italian mafia, it sounds like.
A little bit. I'm not an expert at all. I what I know is off of Goodfellas, Boardwalk Empire, Casino.
Do you like this movie better than Casino?
Yes.
Why?
I like this movie better than Casino just because. All right, so if I'm gonna rank them, and I'm gonna rank Scorsese's movies here, it's gonna be Mean Streets
over Goodfellas and Casino.
It is gonna be Mean Streets,
All right.
Goodfellas, Casino, in the trilogy fashion that I feel that he maybe intended or unintended to make these movies. So Mean Streets, it's all young toughs, you know, young guys trying to make a name for themselves. And then you have Goodfellas, same thing, but they start to make a name for themselves a little bit. Goodfellas, they already have that name. And then they build that name even more, and then it crumbles. Some of them get baseball batted in a cornfield, which did not happen. The way that Nicky Spilotro died was not in a cornfield.
You're talking Mean Streets.
I'm talking Casino.
Oh, cause that's right.
Cause I sat at the Mob Museum when I was there in Vegas in 24, and I listened to a guy whose father did the hit.
Whoa, all right.
Yeah, and he's like, that's not how it happened. Nicky Spilotro, they were in a basement, I think, in Chicago, and it was him and his brother, and they beat his brother to death, and then Nicky's like, can I at least say a prayer first? They let him say a prayer, and then they beat him to death. But then they did bury him in a cornfield.
Well, I imagine most of what's in the mob museum is going to be fake or untrue. I mean, the mob is probably not going to want their secrets out there, right?
No, I think some of it's pretty true. One thing that's not true is them having Ma Barker, her picture hanging up in the mob museum, like she's a criminal. I'm like, no. Ma Barker of the Barker Carpus gang was not a criminal at all. Ma just wanted to be around her kids. Her kids are psychopaths and criminals. She just wanted to be around her boys. And she was murdered by the FBI.
Sopranos versus Goodfellas versus The Godfather. He hasn't seen The Sopranos. I think of him as a weakling.
Oh, thanks.
Mrs. Farx and I watched through the entire Sopranos. She has not made it through Goodfellas. She has not watched all of The Godfather. That was me vamping for you, Jimmy.
I'm going to be honest, I've not seen all of The Godfather. I've seen one.
Yeah, that's probably the best one.
No, I think 2 is
Two?
on par with and could surpass 1 in certain ways.
Okay.
But do you think 1 is superior or
One
inferior
is
to Goodfellas?
pretty good. So Corleone is playing basically Frank Costello's character. Frank Costello was a real man. They just released a movie about him. It's on HBO Max right now, called The Alto Nights, which I watched probably 2 nights ago.
Oh, where De Niro plays 2 characters.
Yes. Yeah, he plays Frank Costello and Vito Genovese. And they're best friends, but Vito, for a short time, he gets stuck over in Italy during World War II, leaves Frank Costello in charge of the mafia, like over everybody. He's the boss of bosses. Wish I could say it in Italian. I know how to say it in Italian a little bit, but I'm not going to do it.
I'm going to put Goodfellas above Godfather. I think Goodfellas is a lot more fun. It's a lot more hectic. Godfather is very slow.
I'm gonna go with Kirk. And it's shorter, I think. It's shorter.
Yeah, it's 2 hours 20 minutes versus the 3-hour Godfather.
So
but
look at Godfather. Godfather takes place, I think, in the 50s.
Yeah, the 50s, 40, right after the war. So it's late 40s, 50s, and then beginning at
Goodfellas takes place mid 50s through 1980. I don't know. I think that I like that time better.
Why?
Seems a
The
more
50s?
interesting time because
this 50s through the mid 50s through up to 1980.
So you look at that time and it's like I just understand that time more than I do pre like 1950.
You understand the time when MLK, JFK, and RFK was killed better than the time right after World War II.
Well, because it was highly documented all that time. You think about it. We had television. All that stuff was on TV. We had movies.
That ended the war in Vietnam is people seeing it on TV.
Yeah.
Kind of like things now are being influenced by people being able to see it on TikTok.
Yeah, you have to film that stuff. Hands down. That is the only way you're going to get that message across. Having, you watch some of that stuff from, especially Vietnam, that was shown live on television. Or at least not live, it was shown on television. Guys getting shot in the field in Vietnam.
And the coffin's coming home.
Yes. And people are like, I don't like that.
It's hard to hold it against the mob when
20 years earlier, it's like that was also happening on a larger scale for World War II. Actually, not a lot of coffins were coming home. They were more getting buried overseas. But they weren't seeing it. They were just getting the telegrams going, your son died. And it's like, all right, well, we'll have a funeral and put a headstone here.
Well, the Saving Private Ryan is we're going to go get the last one of your kids because all of them went to serve and okay.
Which actually did happen.
For that character, for that real person, yes.
Yes, not in that way, but it did happen.
We barely talked about the movie, which is good because this is non-spoiler. I want to get to the interview and the spoiler. The interview will come out last, but we're going to do spoiler.
Well, to wrap it up, Jimmy, Did you always want to be a gangster?
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit? Where were you, Cal?
I was very into... I saw Godfather when I was like 13, 14.
Mhm.
I remember my mom let me get it from the library, and she couldn't deny it because she had watched it with her when her mother fell asleep at the drive-in. And my adopted mother, because Kirk and I are brothers and we reconnected in the past couple of years. And she couldn't deny me getting it from the library. Like, why would you tell someone they can't get something from the library kind of thing? So I watched it. I remember eating Taco Bell that my parents had gotten for me because I couldn't drive at the time, and watching all 3 hours at like 10 o'clock one night and staying up till 1 a.m. Like, whoa. And then it blew my mind when I was 14. And then I saw Goodfellas like a year or two later because I'm slightly younger than you, not much younger than you.
Well, I didn't see Goodfellas until maybe my 20s, so I didn't really grow up with trying to be a gangster or, all that mob stuff.
What about rap?
Rap? No. I wish I was a little bit taller, that kind of rap.
Exactly.
Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.